Singing Bird Farm, Alaska, here in Haines. And I wanted to show you something very cool. I found yesterday these Cottonwood Catkins outside my door, and I made a dye bath with just a little water, a little vinegar, and a piece of aluminum foil. And I was able to achieve these beautiful mauve colors, pink, purple, and I'll show you some of the others while I show you a very cool chemical reaction that happens because the anthocyanins in the purples and pinks that we see in a lot of foods and dyes will change to blue in an alkaline solution. I found if I add the alkaline with the heat, it often goes to this reddish brown color. The reds will go to brown if at too high of heat anyways, and it seems like once it becomes alkaline, that reaction happens at a lower temperature, is accelerated. So what I found to make this beautiful green that is possible is to just paint baking soda water, an alkaline solution, onto the mauve fabric. And what I want to do is I want to show you this fun with science thing, and then while the green color is developing, because it takes a minute, I'll show you the other scarves that I made with this. So I'll just paint this on. Make sure. Good. Still filming. There we go. You can see it starts to turn. You might get hopeful it's going to make a blue like this cabbage dyed one did. Or here's another cabbage dye. You can see the beautiful blue colors. Some of that reddish color, it comes out with high heat too. In the cottonwood, there seems to be a yellow dye also. So with the paper towel, I don't know if you ever did that ink trick, where it'll actually separate out different size and weights of molecules. The yellow seems to be a little bit lighter. It doesn't separate out from the pink shade, but when I added a little baking soda and it continued, you can see how this yellow dye is present. And I think that that is much more in the leaf, in the catkin, the stem, the ones I gathered from the tree, instead of like these ones where we had a big windstorm and I just got the red part. Oh, you can see it's starting to turn greenish, hoping for a beautiful kind of bright green. There's I'm over dyeing. I actually dyed this already with the Arashi Shibori technique, but I wasn't overly thrilled with the subtlety of the turmeric, and it just didn't excite me. So I thought, well, this one with the yellow from the little bit of turmeric I put on before would be a fun one to turn green, and maybe you might like to watch that. Just this is one of these great Japanese sumi brushes, and I have an even bigger one, but my solution was in the teacup, so let's just do that. Maybe I really want it all green. I'm not that super thrilled with the pink and green combination. It's okay. Reminds me of Easter. So in a minute, I'll show you all those Arashi Shibori and the ones with the pink and purple that I did yesterday. I feel like that red color might come out when there's too much of the baking soda too. not just heat. But what I want to show you is you can see that green color is going to get more vivid. Here I have my armload of dyed fabrics. Here's just this beautiful shade. I don't know if my camera does it justice, of mauve. There's no other word for it. And then that you can see done with the winding arashi shibori technique. Different pleating. I actually used a little coffee on this one, and when it dried close to the heater, that darkening reaction came out, which ended up as a happy accident, as they say. Just like in this one, this is just one of my favorite ones so far. It looks so sophisticated. I could see some office woman pulling it off. And this is one you can see with the green after it's matured. I should try to hold them still. And some turmeric in there. And here's just another kind of like a mulberry color. What a beautiful color to have fallen at my doorstep. And also, here's one done with hibiscus, which doesn't have yellow undertones or anything. It turns more of a blue. But since it doesn't grow here, it's not as exciting to me as the cottonwood. I'll just show you these. I'll hold them still. So I'm going to pause because this is going to take a little time. Once it dries, it'll get all the way more green, I'm hoping, and less kind of army green color, olive. And then I hope you've enjoyed seeing what a beautiful thing we have falling at our doorsteps from the windstorms in Haines. The very top part's starting to dry, and this is all silk, by the way, and you can feel when it's still cool with the back of your hand, your silk's not dry, it's wet when it's cool. So one thing I like to do is rub my fabric a lot. When you rub it, it raises the scales on the silk, and then just like your hair, it has a bunch of scales, and it raises them up. The dye pigments can get under the scales, and then they'll settle back down as it cools down. Or so you can rub it. The more you rub your fabric, then the more it can kind of get in there. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that I did use heat in the dyeing. I warmed up the silk under running water, warmer and warmer, and then I put that in the dye bath and kept it just below simmering for about 20 minutes. Getting closer. And the darker part is the part that's still wet, and I'm hoping it'll continue to brighten and oxidize in the next half hour while I go to an appointment I have.